Hi there, Graham from St Peter's here with another 3-minute thought. We all like, I think, to think that we are fair. Maybe if we had to design our perfect society, our perfect community, what we'd like to see this world to be like, it would be one where fairness is all over the shop. That everyone is fair, everyone gets their fair due. You pay a fair price for it. And there'd be none of this stamping of your feet and declaring Kevin the Teenager style, it's not fair. Now, I don't know if you've heard someone say that and someone has retorted straight away, well, life isn't fair. But on Sunday in St Peter's, we read a parable which made us think a little bit about whether God was fair. See, in this parable, in this story of Jesus, it says the kingdom of heaven is like this. And then in Matthew chapter 20, it talks about how someone who owned a vineyard went out to get workers to work in his vineyard. He went out first thing in the morning and he hired the people who were there and said, come work for me, and for your day's work, I'll give you a day's wage. Now, a little bit later on, a couple of hours later, he goes out, finds some more and says, come work for me and I'll pay you what is right. A little bit later, he does it again and again until finally, at 5 o'clock in the evening, an hour before they'd have to stop work, he goes out once more. And he says to them, well, why are you still here? And they reply, no one has hired us. Come, work for me. Now, at the end of the day, at 6 o'clock, he sends his supervisor to pay everyone, starting with those who turned up latest. And he gives them a full day's worth of pay. Amazingly generous. And those who'd worked all day long, they think that it comes to their turn, they're going to get more. If these people have worked 1 hour, get a day's wage, and we've worked 12 hours, including the heat of the day, well, maybe we are in for a bumper payday. But it comes to them and they get 1 day's worth of pay. Exactly the same as the ones who just worked an hour at the end of the day. Now, as you can imagine, they're angry. But the owner of the vineyard says, what's it to you if I want to be generous? Was it fair? Well, probably not. But see, this is the thing. I don't think God is fair in the ways that we might think of fairness. Fairness is getting what you deserve. But our God's not fair. God is so much more than fair. He's generous. He's good. He's gracious. Do I deserve God's love? Maybe you've thought the same question. I know I don't deserve his love, but I know he gives it anyway. Because he's not fair. He's generous. He's loving. And his grace is above all things. The parable ends up with the words, the first shall be last and the last shall be first. A reminder that in the topsy-turvy kingdom of God, it's not what we put in, which means what we get things out. It's not that we can work our way to God's love, or that we can perform our way to his high regard, but that God gives us all that we have, and that he loves us despite ourselves and despite what we do, which is very good news indeed.